What is going on, everyone? It is Foster, and I'm back at it again with another VeVe Andy Comey video. Guys, I apologize. I haven't made a video recently. Some of you guys that have been subscribed to the channel will know that I try to put out content if and only if there's things that I believe you guys need to know about to stay in the loop about things that are going on. But there have been some things that I've been meaning to make videos about, but I just haven't had the chance. And the main reason for that is, as you can see on the screen, my second daughter was born on April 25th. She is happy, she is healthy, she is home, mom is doing well, baby is doing well. So I've just obviously been a bit busy dealing with all of that stuff at home. So I haven't had the opportunity to come and sit down and make a video. I was able to get some time this morning, and I wanted to cover something that I've been talking about on Twitter. Now, you guys will know if you follow me on Twitter, I put out this post the other day, and I said I was looking for some community data on the Master Collector program. Right now, everyone should have access to the Master Collector program on their devices, on the VeVe app. And one of the cool things about it is that we can start to compare what people's different ranks are, see where everyone's at with everything, how many points certain people have, and what benefits may come from having specific ranks on the platform. So I put this out. This is obviously the VeVe official graphic itself, and it breaks down the 22 ranks that currently exist in the MCP. Now, of course, if you're brand new or you have not used the VeVe app before, you would start at starter. But if you own any collectibles, comics, or sets, you will see that with your daily recurring points, you will move into one of these levels. Now, I'm very fortunate. I am currently on level 22. I am in the Master Collector status. I believe I have somewhere in the area of 670 collectibles, about 160 sets, and another 120 or so comics. And I have been collecting quite a bit more things since the Master Collector program came out on the platform. One of the funny things is, and you guys will know if you've watched my videos before, I've never put a lot of stake on the Master Collector program. It's never something that I thought was a big deal, and it wasn't something that I was particularly focusing on in my collecting journey. But the interesting mentality of being a competitive person like I am is you start to see other people who are similar ranked to you or have been in for a similar period of time and have been collecting that are higher than you, and it makes you really want to elevate your collecting status and to compete with them to keep up with what they're doing. So I asked everyone to let me know between Diamond 1 and Master how many points they were getting in a day, because I wanted to see where people ranked and what is the point cutoff for becoming a Master Collector. I do imagine at some point VeVe will be releasing leaderboards, and we'll be able to see all of this data in real time. But for now, we went the community route, and I have to say that you guys came out in absolute full force. I think it was like 235 comments or something where people responded. So I really want to shout out everyone that took the time to provide me with their information. If you guys see your name on the screen here, thank you so much. And if you don't, know that I still appreciate it all the same. I did my absolute best to at least like every single person that took the time to provide a comment to me, and I also interacted with a lot of you guys as well. After looking through a lot of the data, we can see here with Athena, she earned about 603 points being in Diamond 1. We can see here Randy earned about 699 points being in Master. After compiling and going through all of the data, the rough cutoff for yesterday was 650 Master Collector points. Now, of course, this is going to fluctuate depending on the day. As people on the top start to collect more, that may push the average up. If people are selling things that are in the upper level, it may push things down. If you don't understand what I mean by that, that's perfectly okay. We can go over to the VeVe Master Collector Medium article, and we can see here that under the Master Collector, when it breaks it down, the important thing to remember is that there's a difference between levels and ranks. When you earn a level, it's done by collecting in activity, any of the collectibles and comics and sets that you hold, and that is always going to progress. It's always going to go up depending on how many points you got in a day. If you were at 1,000 points on day 1 and then you earn 300 points, the next day you will have 1,300 points. That level is basically your own. You're not competing against anyone else when it comes to your level. No one can take your level away from you. If you sell collectibles or you sell comics, it does not hurt your level. You'll just simply earn less points per day. But the thing that does matter, and the thing that people may start to compete over in the VeVe app, is your rank. And once again, the rank, there is 22 different ranks as we look at it here, and those ranks fluctuate based on user activity. So just because you're a master collector on one day does not mean you will wake up the next day and still be a master collector. If people bumped past that threshold that you were at, and only a certain percent can be in that top rank, you can actually lose your rank from one day to the next. And I've actually seen some people posting on that comment that I put on Twitter that they had been Diamond 3 one day and then were Diamond 2 the next day, or conversely lost a rank depending on what was happening. And we can see here that it's explained in the MCP article. I'm not going to go over it because it's not the purpose of this video, but if you guys are curious and don't fully understand the mechanic of that, you can always look in the MCP article or let me know in the comments section down below. The one thing that I want to highlight on this screen as we go through it is that VeVe indicates that as the MCP expands, points will also grant access to new VeVe features, for example, burning and crafting, level and rank based privileges, OMI reward tiers, and more. Now, I think that that's really interesting because it shows that as they build out the program, there will be a benefit to earning points. There will be a benefit to increasing your levels as well as holding a certain rank and getting specific privileges. They go on to say, as collectors reach specific milestones, levels, and ranks, they will gain access to platform benefits such as new or gated features within VeVe. Now, I don't tend to like to speculate too much because, of course, we have no idea where VeVe is going to take this. But given the fact that they are currently integrating both the OMI utility program and the Master Collector program into one overall loyalty program, I think it's safe to say that these gated features will be super beneficial, whether they are, point multipliers or bonuses for being in a specific level, whether that combines with your OMI staking, or if you hold OMI on the platform, or if you use OMI to buy collectibles or accessories. Maybe it's something like getting exclusive access to specific drops or getting early access to drops that are coming out. It could be earning additional bonus waitlist entries, and the list really goes on and on. But I think the point is, I probably underestimated the importance of having a high Master Collector rank. And I'm reviewing the documents more, and the more that I go over it, the more that I realize that it's important for me to stay in the Master rank so that I can take full advantage of these features once they're rolled out. Now, currently, right now, I earn about 1,500 Master Collector points per day for my rank, so I am fairly safe in the Master tier currently. Once again, the cutoff is approximately 650 points, so chances are a lot of people would have to collect even more in order to surpass me. But part of the reason that I wanted to make this video is that if you're someone that's new to VeVe, or you're just starting, or even if you've been collecting for quite a while, but you're not a Master Collector yet, or even if you are a Master Collector and are just looking to hold your rank to be able to gain these benefits, what is the most efficient and cost-effective option to go about doing so in order to ensure that you continue to maintain those benefits? And we can see here, obviously, the 22 ranks, top 0.03% of collectors. Based on the amount of people that responded to me and said that they were a Master Collector, I do believe that this is an error. This would represent like 3 in 1,000 people, which I don't think is correct. I think they meant to put top 3% of collectors, which I think makes more sense. It's 3 in 100, it's 30 in 1,000, which is still not very many when you consider the user base that we have now. But I do think it's far more reasonable than 3 in 1,000 or 3 in 10,000 for that matter. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that unfolds. A great community resource and tool that we have is the VeVe Set List. Now, there's a ton of great community members that have created tools over a period of time. This one was specifically created by Bravos Assassin. If you guys don't already follow him on Twitter, make sure that you do, and make sure you go check out his site. I'm not sponsored to make this content. He's not paying me anything to do this. I actually reached out to him while I was trying to coordinate all of this stuff, and he gave me a couple tips and tricks to walk through the platform to use it as efficiently as possible. And we actually had an interesting discourse about him adding additional features that I thought would be beneficial and that could help you guys. And he seemed open to it. So I'm excited to see what he ends up doing with that. But once again, just want to give that disclaimer. It's not a paid service. It's a free service. I'm not sponsored by it, but I hope that you guys go check it out, and it will be linked in the description down below. So what am I trying to show you guys by being on this platform? Well, the great thing about VeVe Set List is that it has all of the collectibles, comics, and sets that have dropped, and it's updated regularly. And I believe it either has access to the VeVe API or has a way to calculate it, because it does show basically real-time data on how much money each of the collectibles and comics cost. It'll show you the 24-hour fluctuation based on what the current price is in the marketplace. So I do think that that's really cool. It doesn't necessarily show sales data, so you won't be able to see when one recently sold or not. But if you're looking to use it for what I used it for in this instance, it's an absolutely great tool. It's super user-friendly. Would recommend using it on a desktop if you do have access to one. It's a little bit more difficult to use on the phone, but I do believe that it would work there as well. So getting in the meat and potatoes of the video, what are we looking to accomplish here? I said to myself, if I'm a new collector, I'm a returning collector, or I'm someone that's already in a master collector, but I want to maximize my MCP points on a daily basis to ensure that I stay in the highest rank for as long as possible. What is the amount of money that I would need to spend in order to ensure that I'm earning enough MCP points to maintain that level or rank? And once again, it fluctuates based on the day, but the day that I did it, it was 650 points. So I came on the website and I looked at the sets. And the great thing here is you can scroll through and you can see that it has every set that has been released on VeVe. We could go through this all day. You can see that I've already checkmarked some of these off because it does take a little while to put it all together, but I'll explain to you how I came to the conclusion that I came to and whether or not it would make sense for you to do this at the end of the video. So we can see here under the all sets, you can organize it on different parameters. So you can organize it based on price, which I have it done right now. So the cheapest set on VeVe to acquire is Women Support the War Effort. It's a stamp set. It costs $8.33 right now in the marketplace, and it'll get you 2.25 MCP points per day. One of the important things to remember when you're completing sets, though, is that you're not just getting points based on the collectible, you also get points for completing the set. So one-time bonuses, you would actually earn 100 MCP points by completing this set, which is not something that's factored into the calculation, because obviously depending on how long you hold the set for and what you're planning to do with it, it wouldn't factor in. But you do see here that it is one set point, and then depending on the rarity, you also earn additional points for holding it. So you can see here that it's a rare and that you would earn 1.25 MCP points per day, plus the 100 set points that you would get for completing that set. And that, of course, is a one-off that you would earn for that specific day, which may skew the amount of points you earn per day, but it's important to know that you do earn those points for completing those sets. We can go through all of them. I'm obviously not going to go through all of them because that's not what I want to show you. What I do want to show you is a couple different metrics that you can use to decide how to maximize your sets. Now, if you're going to use MCP, what I would recommend for you is that you're only doing this if you're someone who already owns sets on VeVe, is already collecting on VeVe. You're kind of right on the cusp of being able to jump up a couple levels or jump into being a master collector, and you're looking for a cheap or inexpensive way in order to increase your levels. Now, this isn't the most efficient way, and we'll get into that momentarily, but this is the most amount of points that you can earn by holding a specific set. So we can see here that the Disneyland Resort poster collection, which is currently $269 to complete all the posters on the market, will earn you 35 Master Collector points per day. Now, there's only 3 sets on VeVe that will earn you 35 Master Collector points per day, and in order to get those points, they basically all need to be secret rares, and you need to be able to complete that set. So we can see here that there are 5 posters, the different prices of each of the posters, and the fact that they're all secret rares is why you're able to earn 6 points per poster, and then 5 points because you're also holding 1 point for each collectible per day. I went through after selling a couple things on VeVe, and I think I posted about it a couple days ago on Twitter, so you guys will know that I've already done this. I went and completed some of these sets that I had not already completed because it was a lot of points for a reasonable cost in my mind. And when I say reasonable cost, what I'm referring to, and the metric that I really want you focusing on, if this is something that you're going to be doing, is dollars per MCP point. Now, what does dollar per MCP point mean? Well, that means how much money would you need to spend in order to get each one MCP point. So here we can see that it's $7.70 per MCP point. So if you take 7.7 and times it by 35, you'll get this number. So that's where that calculation comes from. It's the amount of MCP points that you're earning per day. And that's the thing that we're actually going to be searching through so that you guys can see the cheapest and most efficient way to earn enough points to hit the Master Collector rank. As you can see here, I've checked off all of the boxes already. I removed one of them, which I'll get into afterwards. But we can see that we've checked, different sets have different values. So this is a secret rare. It's one collectible, and you get the 1 point for earning it. This poster series, we already went over it. Some of these sets, you only earn 4.7.5 points per day. But remember, what we're looking at is the amount of money that you're spending per MCP point in order to collect these. So as you can see here, we made it up to the Kripken Series 1, and the cutoff was $9.29. The reason for that cutoff is that we can then click on the checkmark tab. Now, this website does host the information locally. So if you've already selected your sets, you don't need to make an account. You can actually do this on your phone or on your computer and then come back to it on a different day, and it will cache and store all of the information and changes you've already given to it. So then you can just come back and pick back right off where you left off, which I think is a really cool feature that Bravos Assassin has implemented. So as you can see here, this is the check marks. This is in the theoretical sets that I've completed in order to earn MCP points as cost efficient as possible. And if we scroll down to the bottom, after all the sets that we've completed, we can see here that we completed 59 total sets with 206 collectibles. At the current cost of the floor, it would cost us a little over $4,500 to complete all of these sets. We would earn 651 MCP points, which is, like I said, right at the threshold of where I wanted to be to make this comparison to get into that Master Collector rank. And you would have spent approximately $6.97 per MCP point in order to get up to this level. Now, this, of course, is completing sets. You earn points based on the collectibles as well as the set. You also earn 100 points per completed set. So the one calculation that you're not going to see included here is the 5,900 points that you would have earned already for the 100 points times 59 that you've completed. Moving on to comics. I did relatively the same thing. I went through on all, and we did it by dollars per MCP point. And one of the interesting things that I noticed as I started to go through this is that without fail, all of the most efficient MCP point earners when it comes to comics are the rare. And you can see that as I scroll through, there's, one or two exceptions in the ultra rare, a couple of them. And then if you go through, there's some uncommons, but there was no secret rares and there was no common comics that made it to the top 50 or 100 that I selected out. Now we're going to use the same process again. We've selected all of our points and we're going to go over to the check mark. And once again, we're using the dollars per MCP point as a focus. And we can scroll down here, see all of the comics that we've selected. And it took 337 comics at a total of $3,355, and it earns us about 651 MCP points for an average dollar per MCP cost of $5.15. So we can see here, based on the numbers that I've run, that it would be more cost efficient by about 25% to go through the comic route rather than going through the collectibles route. Now, there's also the important thing to keep in mind that when you complete sets, you would also get the 100 points per set as a one-time bonus. So that would bump you ahead of where you would be with comics, although you're still spending a little bit more money. But it's interesting to see that the cheapest way currently on the platform, if you were to start today to become a Master Collector rank, would be to spend $3,355. Now, there is the potential that we could combine sets as well as comics and bump this number down a little bit further. But once again, the dollars per MCP point on comics was fairly low. I don't think that you'd save any money by adding collectibles into this. So it seems like the cheapest way that you could earn a Master Collector rank today is to spend approximately $3,300, and you would currently hold that rank until such a time that more people spent or earned more points than you, and then their rank may surpass you. I do imagine that over time, as more users come onto the platform and as the higher collectors continue to collect additional sets, we will see a fluctuation and that it will take more and more MCP points to hold the master rank. But I did think it was very interesting to run those numbers and find that out. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I love numbers. I love looking at all of this. So what does this all mean? Now that we're at the end now, we've ran the numbers. Does it make sense to buy sets, to buy comics, to spend all of this money in order to get the Master Collector rank? Well, it goes without saying, this is not financial advice. If I was new to VeVe, this is not something that I would do at this time. I don't think that it makes sense without any announcements or information from VeVe confirming what rewards you would be earning to make a commitment to doing this. Similarly with the OMI utility program, when it was released and they talked about burning OMI in order to get access to higher ranks quicker, I don't think that it makes sense to do that unless you know for some degree of certainty that you will get a return that matches what that investment was that you put in which case it probably does make sense. But right now, without that information, it's not something that I would recommend that you guys do. Now, what you could do if you're interested is collect the fandoms that you believe have the best ratio for dollars per MCP point, but are also things that you'd be proud to own yourself if you had them and had to hold them even if prices did go down. Prices always fluctuate, and I don't want to see anyone doing something like this and getting burned. It's not the point of the video. It's not to tell you that any one collectible is better than any other collectible or that comics are better than collectibles or anything like that. But let's say you really like Disney and you think the posters are really cool. You get a decent dollar per MCP level, and you earn a ton of MCP points per day. So maybe that's a purchase that you make. When I was going through this, I picked out that set that I completed myself. But one of the sets that I did not complete was this set right here, because the Disney 100 Platinum Moments collection, which is also the posters that were done with the potion burn a couple of weeks ago, cost you $1,160 to complete. And we can see here that it costs $33 per MCP point in order to complete them. But once again, if there's something that I'm really passionate about and I'd like to collect them, then I'll collect them regardless of how many MCP points that they earn me. And the perfect example of that is this, the No Time to Die Aston Martin DB5, which I believe there's 7 of on the platform. You earn 14 MCP points for completing the whole set, but it costs you $1,500 per MCP point in order to do that, which is ridiculous when you think about the fact that for a sixth of this price, you can get 650 MCP points and become a master collector on the VeVe app. So whatever your purpose is, whatever you guys think that you'd like to do, I definitely recommend checking out VeVe Set List. Once again, I will link it in the description down below. I just thought it was an interesting exercise to be able to calculate how much money people would have to spend right now in order to hit that master collector rank. And we can also use it as an interesting exercise where we can circle back in 6 months, 12 months time and see whether or not that number has fluctuated. Does it require even more money in order to do that? Are there better values and bargains for MCP points moving forward in the platform? Will you guys be checking out VeVe Set List? Will you be picking up some of those rare comics to try and take advantage of those points? Are there any sets that you guys have been eyeing that you now see based on MCP points either do or don't make sense to pick up? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Once again, I do look forward to starting to make content more regularly moving forward. Family life will start to balance itself out, and there are a ton of exciting and positive things coming for the project over the next few months that I very much look forward to covering. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you have not done so already, please make sure that you subscribe. Until the next one, I love you all. Peace.